Well, good morning. Good morning to one and single Doomsday. How you doing? The singular viewer of the stream on this. Well, it's not such a great Monday morning for me. I got to go back to work, you know. And I didn't get particularly good sleep last night either. So, how are you supposed to take a Monday when that's the case? What on earth am I looking at for weather? I know that, yeah, okay, today is the last, like, semi-warm day. Gonna be dressing in layers the rest of the week. Man. Oh. So, how do? I hope you do fine. I hope you do fine. All right, where is my music at? Because today we're going to be playing a little bit of Minecraft. Just a touch. Just a touch. And by a touch, I mean the rest of the stream is going to be Minecraft. There we go. Put some nice soft tunes on. You can't have a Minecraft stream without nice soft tunes. Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. I haven't gotten on this server in an age. Ah, yeah, Spanish music. You tell me if it's too loud, by the way. Like, what counts as too loud for you guys and what counts as too loud for me are quite different. I want to know whether or not you guys can still hear me effectively. Still working on my breakfast, too. Alright. I think while I enjoy my breakfast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bit of a run around in the nether first. The overall job of what needs to get done today on the server, and I'm probably not going to finish it, is that the nether highway is undergoing upgrades, which means I need to redesign this little safe house here. But every section of the highway is now 3 wide instead of 2 wide. I think I've done just about all of them. A couple of pockets here and there that need to be worked on. But for the most part, the vast majority of the work is done. I need to head out to Twin Towns and pick up another, Yes, I need to head out to Twin Towns and pick up another pile of nether wart. Honestly, it's a little bit strange going down this highway with the thing being 3 wide. I'm not used to it. This entire experience has been dictated by a 2 wide highway since basically the inception of the whole server. Okay. Alright, now back to the other end. Hello, Basilisk. How you doing? Greetings, lying. Eli. Alright. Oh, right, I can't pick any of that up. I have a full inventory. What am I thinking? It's fine. It's fine. Doing alright, having some lunch and then time to grade. Oh boy. Enjoying the process of figuring out those little tykes and all their incorrect answers. Are we going off the rails in this infernal train? I don't think we are. Not this time around, anyway. Before I actually work on the infernal train, I have to figure out the design for the actual train line. Like, the way that it's gonna look and everything. More thought goes into that than you may imagine. Gonna have to work on the mushroom forest here. ghasts have just absolutely pockmarked this entire landscape. Excuse me. Insane train or hype train? Hype. There's no hype trains happening today. Neither are we getting any hundos for that matter. Oh man, it's a long way. Yeah, ghasts can destroy. There are a lot of blocks that ghasts can destroy, but there's also a lot of blocks that they can't destroy. Basically, the stuff that you're supposed to be building with, as it were, that stuff, for the most part, is, like, durable. So it's like, if you're building with any amount of stone, you're usually fine. Netherrack is one of the few blocks that they can destroy. They can destroy dirt, they can destroy wool, you know. So, building, like, they can absolutely destroy train tracks as well, so you have to be, like, building a rail line in the nether means that I need to protect it inside of a contained box. And the first thing that I have to figure out is whether or not I'm going to build the rail line above or below the existing highway that I have here. The whole reason why I want to do this is because I want to be able to get into a minecart, hit go, and not have to hold a button down to just get somewhere else on the server. As Lying pointed out, like, the ice highways are one of the fastest methods to get around in the nether, but I hate holding a button down to get places. I'm just straight up sick of it. That's what I want to get away from. So got a lot of, we'll just fill up this middle row. Also, ice highways are enormously expensive to build. I know, Ratchet, I'll help you out with food in a moment. He's so desperate. He's tippy-tapping. What did I do that for? I need to fill that back up. Alright, your squeakiness. Enjoy 2 bites before you stop eating again. The nether mine has gotten its workout lately. Okay, there we go. We're full up. Now we go back to spawn. Normally I wouldn't bother doing this, but I figured, you know, hey, I gotta get out to the location with all the supplies for me to think about how exactly I'm gonna build this highway and make it look. So, on that note, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, so the highway is indeed 4 blocks tall, with slabs in the bottom space. They really need to work on minecarts and transportation. They really do. I understand why they added elytra to the game, which has been pointed out. They're like, elytra are just insanely powerful, but like, they need good nuance from one form of transit to the next. Like, the main reason why anybody would use the Nether the way that I am right now is because of the fact that for every 1 block of distance you travel in the Nether, you travel 8 in the overworld, and there's a minimum before you can build another, there is a minimum distance before you can place another portal, and it'll actually get linked out to a brand new portal. It's roughly 250 blocks. I use 300 just to be safe. But, you know, it's not difficult. Like, you know, if you build your portals 250 or 300 blocks apart, just multiply the block count by 8, and that's the distance that you travel in the old overworld. That's the entire reason why I use the Nether. In general, I think that it's like, it's interesting, it's clever, you know, but, right, I'm hungry. The problem immediately becomes, like, what the hell do you do to get around the Nether faster and more safely? And the typical traditional heavy infrastructure method is an ice highway. So you get ice that's... There are 3 types of ice in the game. There's ice, there's packed ice, and there's blue ice. Last I recall learning, packed ice and blue ice do not melt in the Nether. I'm pretty certain both of those don't melt in the Nether. I know blue absolutely does not, but I don't remember if that's still the case for packed ice. I remember it was once upon a time, at least. So, but again, like, the main problem I have with all of the transit options, the elytra, the ice highways, etc., you have to literally sit there and hold the button down to reach a far destination. Okay? And that's where a lot of my problem comes in. It's just like, what if I want to travel to the other side of my server without holding a button down the whole time? And, like, even if only mildly cramping my wrists or something, you know? Also, I'm not a huge fan of elytra for the simple reason that there is a huge amount of space for user error and to just fall out of the sky because you did something wrong at the wrong moment. Been playing Avowed lately? How's it play? Really fun. What even is Avowed? I remember hearing about it for ages. Single player, first person 3D. That's cool, Steam. I didn't want to see screenshots on the product page anyway. Interesting. That's a very Souls-like UI. Alright, so... red nether brick. Here we go. Go ahead and get a dump chest going on here. So I've got 1, 2, 3 chests to fill up on that. It's gonna take a hot minute to actually hit that point, but man, I'm getting there. I'm getting there with the nether bricks and whatnot. It's gonna take a much longer period of time to get there with blackstone though. That stuff is a lot more rare. Speaking of which, per block is a lot less further along than I would have expected it to be. Endstone is pretty far along. That's an empty stack. The wood collections must grow. Like this is just increasingly the background job that I'm doing. It's just like, yeah, if I don't really have anything to do, if I just need to busy my hands and listen to a podcast or something, this is what I get up to, filling up the warehouse. Okay, so let's go ahead and rest. Okay, that was one of the songs out of the soundtrack I never liked. Brick production's coming along pretty well, too. Sandstone, gravel, sand, dirt. And there's a lot of space left in this facility that I need to worry about how I'm going to fill it up. Ugh. Shroom lights. I will never get a full stack of a full thing of shroom lights. There's no getting around that. Okay, so. Let's turn that down a little bit so it's not so much in my ear. And my main concern... Let's see if I have any, like, spare leftover bits and bobs to work with. Dies. Aha, here we go. We got some slabs, we got some stone, brick. This will do it well enough. I can test this out right over here. Okay, so the nether highway is 3 blocks wide. Okay? The next question... 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so... this is, for all intents and purposes, the basic shape of the existing nether highway. It's this space. The question is... how do I make this look? Do I go in with, like, fancy materials? Because the next part of this highway basically needs to have it needs to be at least this. It's still a question of whether or not I put it on top or underneath the existing highway. I'll probably build it on top because that's safer. I don't have to, like, you know, infinitely shift, sneak all over the place. So the idea here is that you have slabs on either side, and then this right here will be where your rail goes. So another railway system. Yes, yes. Because I'm sick of manually running from one location to the other in the Nether. I want to build an automated system where it's like, yeah, just get in the cart, hit the button, and you're done. You just wait, and then you'll arrive at the location you need. That is the entire benefit of building with rails still in the game. This design shouldn't need it, but you want room for lighting. Only enough room for me to actually, like, have, like, hanging lanterns or something. And the way I see it, like, I don't think that I have any spare lanterns. Let me go check. If I don't have spare lanterns, I can definitely, like, make one or two for design purposes here. Probably over here. If there are any. I don't think I have any. Holy moly. Not a one. Not a one. Okay. Unless I'm blind and I've stared at it and... Who knows? Okay. Well, we'll make one. I'll I would like to make soul lanterns because it's the Nether and it's like ambient, atmospheric, as it were. Okay, so that's basically going to be the design of it. Unless I decide to get fancy and, like, I don't know, put stairs up there or something. Yeah, I think being on the top will result in less plummetus into lavatus. Being on the eternal flat bedrock ceiling should also allow for minimum volume of rails. Again, I can't stress this enough. Glitching onto the ceiling is a cheat, okay? It's an exploit, and I don't do that. How many of you have watched me play Minecraft? You should know this by now. Every time this comes up, I give the exact same response every time. If you want full hands-off transit, does that mean centralized network or manual selection of intersection exits? Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to... I'm too cheap to build multiple rail lines going out to each and every location, so you only select once and then you just wait. So it's going to be a broken rail line. So it's, you know, oh, there's a station here, and you'll automatically be ejected from the cart. And if you want to keep going, grab the cart, replace it, and get in, hit the button again. I would love, like, if there was anything that Mojang could do to Minecraft to improve the situation, to improve rail carts, it would be like, yeah, there's some sort of a system that can detect where you want to go based on, you know, what you have in your hand. That would be freaking amazing if the game could read what item you had in your hand somehow to allow you to create, you know, a check on your rail line, so that it would either route you off or it would instantaneously, or if it would send you on. I can't even imagine the implications for other Redstone contraptions if they came up with a system for the game to check that, okay? That's, you know, not tied into a data pack or whatever. But I would love for it to work that way, but without that option, I'm trying to keep it relatively simple. I don't want to make things unbelievably complicated, because I am up to a point on this server where building things for the sake of efficiency is no longer the point. If you're not building it to be pretty and efficient, then there's no point. There is no point to building anything. And that is the reason, that is the centric thesis for why this server still exists. So a hierarchical pathfinding network for rail lines would probably be pretty easy, honestly. Just a matter of putting the work in. That'd mean a traveling cart could tell where it'd end up 1,000 blocks later. Do you mean possible as in it's possible in the game right now? Because if anything like that exists, I've never been able to find anybody's solution to it. How boring do I want this to be, this entire tunnel? I'm trying to think about how this tunnel needs to look. And I'm trying to ask myself if I want to do anything with glass or something. Can ghasts shoot you through glass? Like, if they see you through a pane of glass, will they shoot a fireball at you? Are you not the solution, man? Ghasts will not shoot, they will not try to shoot you whenever there's glass in the way. Okay. That opens up the possibility of me... Because, like, this is the generic shape of it, right? Like, the question is, do I go in with fancy blocks and, like, work on the tunnel? Because, again, this is going to basically be built on top of the existing highway. Do I just make it a long, boring, flat tunnel? Or do I make this a... Do I, like, give some variation to the tunnel? Do I give it a little bit of, like, texture, as it were? Do I have glass here? I probably don't. I don't think that I have a reason to have glass here. I don't think that there are windows in any of the buildings in this town. Oh. Hey, there's space for more vines. Will you be building it all out of stone brick or making it out of other things? Stone is probably a reasonable option, specifically because I have so much of it. I kind of want to keep it looking specifically like I want to build out of overworld materials. Like that's kind of the requirement here. I want the nether line to be built with overworld materials as much as possible. But I also want hints of the nether visible so that it's unmistakable that you are in the nether when you are on the line. I don't want it to be like, you know, you stop and you AFK and then you come back and you're like, what was I doing? And then you realize, oh, right, I'm in the nether after you leave the rail system. I don't want that. That being said, I have like my my construction in the nether is so thoroughly spawn proof that just mobs are not a problem on 90% of the nether highway. Unfortunately, they're a problem on like 10% of it because I didn't know what I was doing when I first started building the thing. I wasn't concerned for the longevity of the setup and whatnot, so... I think my graphics card isn't strong enough for the Craftoria mod pack. That's not cool. That's just not cool. When I made the Nether Highway in Momo's old server, I made the main road with diorite. You could use some of it on the line. You know... maybe I should use diorite. I know there's conflicting opinions about, I don't have a lot of this stuff. Not a whole lot, anyway. I know there's conflicting opinions on what, on whether or not the, andesite, diorite, and granite, whether or not they look good enough to use. Oh my god, I have so much granite. More granite than anything else. But that's not, that is absolutely the wrong color to try and work into it. Like, I was thinking about trying to use walls to create some variety in the depth of the wall, but man, that doesn't seem like a good idea. I just started looking at the assignments I need to grade and realized I need more mental energy than what I have. Oh my god. It's that type of week already? Holy crap, man. Okay, so right, let me use the stone cutter really fast. Okay, so what these blocks end up being made out of, like whether or not it's actual whether it's actual stone or not is a secondary question for a later moment. But I was thinking maybe trying to do this with the wall. So, it's a little bit different, and like the actual stone brick wall, like it doesn't have to be stone brick wall, it can be like a contrasting color to these bands that would be in the middle. But the problem then becomes I can't have block on the other side, otherwise it does this, and I don't want it doing that. I want it to be just like strictly this flat wall effect, and that's basically making more work for myself. Then again, for the long bridges, that's not a problem, because it's just going to be straight built over the existing highway. I think that's what I'm banking on. We'll build it over the existing manual road. I was reading the first one and I could tell I have to devote more energy to each assignment. The grammar is not up to snuff for their level. Oh no. I actually really like the diorite in the nether. It pops among the darks and reds of the nether. You're not wrong about that. What if I was to... I have to figure out how to get some amount of nether material built into this tunnel. The problem is that I don't want to make any of it out of netherrack, and there's a lot of processing to make a durable stone out of any of the nether materials if it's not like blackstone. And I don't really want to use blackstone because that's not part of, well, it's not part of what I was aiming for. What if I was to take just nice, clean diorite. Polished diorite. Maybe use warped crimson fences. Sadly, I don't think that I have enough of that to justifiably do it. I'm wondering if maybe the trick here is going to be this. That doesn't look as good as I hoped it would. Like, and this is way closer together than it would ever be, but Maybe only for the open bits? Maybe. Actually, there's an important question that I have to ask here. We'll put these back. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that doesn't connect because I'm gonna have to put, if I do this wall thing there, then I can't. I have to dig out an additional pocket back here so that that doesn't happen to the walls. So I can't have blocks in this pocket back here, but that also leaves the possibility of having mobs spawn right behind the walls, and I don't want that to happen whenever I'm going through just straight up netherrack. So I'm gonna have to put slabs in to control spawns. Hello, Ratchet. Test it with double slab? I mean, I don't think that double slab will do anything. Oh, no, wait, it does. Yeah, double slab is just as busted. Okay. So, if I was to go with this, and again, I'm not entirely convinced that this is the right thing to do. It's a bit too bright for my liking. Stained glass? I might, if I use glass, I might just use normal glass panes. Like, I might just... Well, then again, I could also use just, I could use glass specifically whenever I'm on a bridge. Because, like, there's no point in using glass whenever you're in a tunnel, right? There's nothing to see. So I could fill this space with glass panes whenever it's over lava. It's bright in the overworld, maybe not on the nether side? Nether lighting is also slightly red tinted. It is. So the question becomes, you know, you're in the dead of a tunnel. There's no need for windows or anything. How can you tell that you're in the nether? What do I do to the design to make it abundantly clear that you're in the nether? Maybe because the bed of this rail line is going to be like underneath this will be the normal like walking highway where you have to run. Maybe because there's going to be the normal walking highway underneath this, these blocks here are actually made out of netherrack because the bed of the road will be safe. It'll be the bed of the road will be completely safe. So I could justifiably get away with the cheapness of netherrack as long as the rest of the tunnel here is safe. And keep in mind, like I'm not scot-free here either, because the top of this tunnel here is going to be prime spawning location for enemies, you know? So that means I'm going to have to put slabs on top of the rail tunnel, which is the argument for why I shouldn't build this on top, because that makes it a lot more expensive. I have to put slabs on the top because I want to control monster spawns and not have them all over the not have them all over my rail line. To do that, like the way to cheapen up on that is to basically use that layer right there, hang it off of the bottom bed of the walking line. The problem is that then I have to build this entire thing, you know, pinky hold. So sneak, sneak crouching the whole way, basically. Mobs won't spawn on the slabs or rails, so it doesn't really matter if they spawn outside the tunnel. If it does, if you don't want to hear them making noise constantly. I'm thinking through a lot of things here. Like, a whole lot of things for whether or not how to go about doing this, because there are some very particular things that I don't want to have to potentially deal with. I don't want mobs spawning on my highway, even if it's just outside of the highway, you know? Don't ask me why that matters. It does, okay? So... My particulars are very strange. Spam and rice for lunch. Spam and rice for lunch. I can't remember the last time that I've had spam in my life. It's never been a pleasant experience, spam. Then again, it's been so long, maybe my taste has changed. That's the end of one soundtrack. What do I want to go for next? You know what? Let's listen to the Minecraft soundtrack. Why not? It makes sense. Okay, so bacon spam. Well then, I'm getting all fancy up in here. Can I get just, like, normal diorite walls, or does it have to be polished? I forget what the styles available are. Okay, you can only get diorite walls. Okay, so... if I wanted to do this again... oh, whoops. There we go. If I was to do diorite walls, how would that look? If I did it in reverse, how would it look? That's more subdued. That's a lot less pronounced. I think that works better. Okay, so I think diorite in between the support beams is what makes the most sense. Okay, so that being the case, I think we basically have our design. Let's collect all of this up and let's start loading materials. Wait a minute, do I need to... Yeah, I should probably dump some material back in storage over here. I don't want to completely, like, drain this place of the random bits and pieces that I grabbed up. Okay, so we can stash that. And then we can load this thing up. Let's load the shulker box up with just straight stone. Oh my word. Yes, I see you, Ratchet. You keep slinking back in. Alright, that's all the stone I can carry. Pick that back up. Okay, so we got stone. And the next thing I have to worry about is... Ratchet, you are going to have to sit immediately because my stomach is not happy today. Yeah, sit. There you go. This cat. Are you okay? Yeah, there you go. Sit. There you go. Be a good boy. Just sit and relax and be happy, okay? Oh my god. What makes you think that this is lap time, by the way, huh? You wanna give me an answer to that, buddy? What makes you think that this is like prime lap time? You know that I have a really hard time getting any amount of work done whenever you do this. This cat. Anytime is lap time for cats. Because he gets more attention when the camera is on. You'd think that. But the truth is that he comes along looking for attention all the time. Golly. Well, you're sitting on me, you're incapacitating me. I may as well take the time to pop my meds. And he's off. Lap time is all the time. I think he wants to speak to the world. Father, please. I have opinions that must be shared. The rising price of tuna, Father. You just remind me of what Squid was doing when we were playing web fishing on Saturday night. Please, my son. He is very weird. Oh, my word. Okay. Right, my inventory. I don't need polished diorite. I need normal diorite. I don't know why I have so many torches. Now, let me check. This isn't a doubling situation, is it? I do that. Nope, it's 1 to 1. It's 1 to 1. So polished diorite looks nice. Yeah, but it's not an option. It's not an option for making walls, so I will. I'm sorely lacking cobblestone back at Midcrest, so okay. Oh, actually, I don't know. Maybe we can get away with a touch less. I need a space in my inventory for a freaking minecart. Get moving back to spawn. The funny part is that the rails are what are they're going to be like the dead last thing to go in. There won't be any rails in the rail system for the Nether until the tunnels are finished, and the stations as well. The stations are going to be a fun thing. I have to redesign the central crossroad for the entire Nether highway, but then I also have to redesign the what was it? I have to redesign every spot. Like I have to come up with a station design for every location along the highway as well. So at least building the rail lines is going to be, relatively speaking, easier than building the rail lines here. Greystone Garrison. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a challenge because the station isn't gonna be in the garrison. It's gonna be outside of the garrison. You're still gonna have to manually walk from the station over to the garrison. That's the intention. And man, the more I think about... The more I think about it, the more uncomfortable I am with putting the... You know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to try something in a creative world. I'm gonna have to try something in a creative world here. Single player. Oops. Okay, we're in the creative world. This is a copy of the server, actually. So no. All right, let's hop into the Nether. Now, the highway has not been updated in this version, obviously. But this is as good of a spot as any for me to try something here. So, first off, this was a pain in the butt to do, but I had to come through here. good enough for now. We can... Oh, did I summon the squid with my story of the other day? Oh no. Okay, and then I did this. So this should be relatively accurate to the setup and the materials that I'm dealing with here. Okay, so this is roughly what we're looking at for the way that the highway looks now. So my main concern here is that if I build on top of this thing, it's gonna look ugly as sin. And believe it or not, as unpleasant as this landscape is, being able to run along the top and see everything still counts for something. So this is what I'm curious about. If this needs to be, let's see. I need stone bricks. I need diorite wall. So 1, 2. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the lava ocean by doing it this way. And then I would have to lay I would have to lay cobblestone first. So this is what I would be doing. I don't want anything that's paper thin here. So if I built it underneath, this is what I would be going through. And then we would do slabs on either side. We do netherrack in the middle. And we'll go ahead and grab some of these bad boys. So we do that. And then it's 10 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I think at that point it's... Connect it up perfectly. And then for a section like this, powered rails, and then we've got netherrack like this. This is so much closer to the lava, making it so much more dangerous. What's the height difference between one in the other. Let's use these copper bulbs to measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That puts me 5 blocks above the fucking ocean. Oh boy, that's interesting. Okay, so if I did this, then the next thing I would have to do is fix the ceiling because it's ugly. Oh my god, is the ceiling ever ugly. But for this section, it would be glass panes that would go in the tunnels. I'd also have to do this. And this is what the tunnel would look like effectively. Now, how does that look from the outside? Frankly, I think that looks fine from the outside. I don't think that there's any major issue here. I'm obviously going to have a bit of a problem, like, expanding the station downward. Fire resistance is not available to beacons. Beacons also don't work in the Nether because they cannot see the sky. You'd have to destroy the bedrock ceiling in order for the beacon to see the sky. Hello, Goggles. Greetings. The floof has vacated my lap. Something that I'm actually a little bit happy for. My stomach is unhappy today. Wood sounds like a good building material in the Nether. Doomsday, I swear. We are out. I just got back to the car, so the timing is pure coincidence. Okay, so the alternative. Let's just finish patching this whole system up, yeah? We'll go ahead and we'll patch this bridge all the way to the other end. And we'll see what it looks like to do all of this. We're gonna see what the highway looks like if I build up the existing road and protect it, and then build the rail on top. Because the more I think about doing that, the more I think, oh god, this is gonna look terrible. Oh, Strife, you just noticing the piss emote? No, Doomsday. I've known about it for ages now, because you keep using it. Oh, oops. Okay, so we pave up the remainder of this. I hadn't thought this through, but if I cover over the existing highway, with the rail line, which is again, frankly, easier to do. Let's go ahead and put that there. So that means we'll need to count this out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, this is a decent enough distance away that I can work with it. Okay, so 2, 3. How tall was it again? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the fifth block is. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this will be the fifth block for the ceiling. Because I don't think that I would change my my style from one section of the Nether Highway to the next. Wait a minute, that's the wrong way. I wanted to stretch this out this way. Or did I? No? No, no, no. I wanted to do it this way. Okay, so this is what it ends up looking like, and maybe I like cheapen up the material cost because I don't have to worry about anything walking on the roof. I can just do this. No, I wouldn't be able to do that because like this is what happens if something is built on top of the Nether Highway. Okay, so this would be the bed of the road, and then I need to get out of this. And then I would have to rebuild this on top of it. So this is objectively much more expensive. Gotta catch you at home. Mobile app keeps crashing. Also, Doomsday, I see you using the the spicy tentacle in the pants. Swap those out there. Go ahead and replace these intersectional blocks just because it makes sense. Okay, so this is what we're going to call the ceiling right here. Then it would be up the 5 blocks, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll use that to mark 3, 4. There we go. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay, so this we would need to bring this up 1. this is the road. This is the train bed, as it were. Yep. I can't hit my head on that. It's just not possible. So this would leave the existing line in a safe space. It would make the existing road safer than it already is. I don't know if it would be necessary for me to do anything in regards to, like, I don't know. I'm not entirely certain whether or not it would be necessary to fill in this space right here. Okay, well that's that, and then it would be redstone, redstone, and then we would put netherrack along this, and then slabs. And finally, I would be able to do this. There we go. These highway projects are like the most expensive infrastructure that I get up to on this server. Okay, and that is basically the gist of it. There is nothing stopping me from going cheap on the ceiling, which makes a certain amount of sense. Cobble is not exactly a rare material, one of the few things that you can very effectively farm in the game. Okay, so now that that's done, we take a step back and we look at that. I don't know, man. Between this just being the case constantly all the way versus this, I think I'm more inclined to do this one. I think I'm much more inclined to do this one. I'm feeling terribly conflicted right now, man. I think the subway style just looks 10 times better. It's going to be way more challenging to do. Because, you know, I'm going to be doing the infinite, like, shift, you know, block placement thing to get the entire... Because this is a wide roadbed. This is a 5-block wide. It's more than what I did for the initial road. And I got to... Oh, man. Which means all of the materials that I just brought back are like I have to stow them. Go grab like an equal amount of cobblestone out of side shale, drag it back, and start using it like and start doing a naked run, you know. Hello, Dark Matter, how you doing? I'm gonna have to start doing a naked run to build this. And the biggest and most annoying part of this is that I don't need the expansion on the Nether Highway in a safe place. The place I need it the most is through here. Okay? Like, I need the highway expansion through this space. Through this space. Yeah, it's still the same space I need the highway expand. Like, this is where the rail is really needed. And we reach the end. It's a long way, man. It's such a long way. I know you're using infested cobblestone. You know you're using infested cobblestone, right? No, I'm not. Infested cobblestone doesn't exist. Infested... See? Nothing. No infested cobblestone. Doesn't exist. I see you trying to troll me. So I guess the only option that I have available to me is doing... I just gotta buckle down. I gotta buckle down and I gotta do the hanging subway style. And I guess the way for me to effectively do this first... First off, I'm super annoyed, okay? Because there's this problem. Look at this. Look at this. This is nasty. This is terrible. I didn't know what this was the first section of a nether highway that I ever built. Okay, so F3. I am at a height of 43. Go down 1 block. Go up 1 block. Go up another block. Oh no. See? This is height 44. So that's another part of my problem. This highway that represents the majority of everything is shorter. It is 1 block higher than the hub over here. So like just doing this whole thing, building a freaking hanging highway right through here, oh my god, is going to be a nightmare. Is dangerous. Is so dangerous. This might be a unique situation where the actual rail line does not match the highway, just for correcting itself and getting into place here. Damn, he didn't fall for dark matter. I know quite a bit about Minecraft. There are some things you cannot pull the wool over my eyes on. Not interested in that music. Alright, so there's not much that I can do. I think I just have to swallow this bitter pill. Because looking at it, it's like, yeah, no, I ain't doing this. This is ugly as all get out. It's got to be this option. So that means that the ceiling of the above road bed, the road bed is the ceiling for the train tunnel. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 blocks below the road bed, I need to lay another one. Just to make this super abundantly clear for myself. I am going to take a screenshot of this to refer back to. Because this will make it super abundantly clear to me. There we go. Options, resource packs. Open that folder. Go up a level. Find the screenshots folder. So you're making a hanging railway like in the Half-Life 1 intro sequence. I mean, I wouldn't compare it to Half-Life. That's like really impressive, but you got the gist of it. Where are my screenshots at? Ugh, this folder is so chock-a-block full. There we go. Found it. Okay, so... That's cool. Let's, save and quit to the title. to multiplayer, log back onto the server. Ugh! Alright. So, now that that's the case, now that I've done that, I know that basically all the supplies that I have with me right here are useless for the current project. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump as much of this as we can into the chests here. It's storming like I've never slept. Alright, now that that's done, I have to take a couple of awkward trips back to Sideshale to get a sufficient quantity of cobblestone to build the bed for the entire op. So so much nicer waiting on the freaking rail to do his job rather than having to manually do this. And I'm going to absolutely freeze this week. Today is the last warm day of the week. Then we head into probably no snow or ice. We're probably not going to get hardly anything. If anything, I'll still have work. I will still have work, even if we get snow and ice, probably. Shut down for nothing. And then I will be stuck. It's just going to get bitterly cold. It's going to get bitterly cold. My power bill will spike. Not looking forward to it. Unseasonably cold. Especially for mid-February. I don't know. Anybody else having to prepare for inclement weather? It's the most boring Midwestern dad thing that I could try to discuss. No more inclement than usual. They said it's going to get super cold and we might get some snowstorms this week. Oh my. Rained all day today and autumn is around the corner. Oh, that's right. You're in the you're in the other hemisphere. I keep forgetting that. Oh my god. I just watched that happen. I've never actually seen that happen before. I knew it was a thing. I didn't know that it could happen. Wow. What was that? That was lightning. Oh, it happened again. Dude. Oh, it keeps happening to the roof. Did I put lightning rods up here? Yes, I did. That's why it's happening. That's why it's happening right here. It's because this is where I placed the lightning rod. I didn't know that it had a splash effect that far. Oh my word. That is so crazy unique. Look at that. Lightning can clean the oxidization off of copper. So there you go. It cleaned the copper blocks off that were oxidized. It refreshed them. It renewed them in the process. This is a known thing. This is not a secret to me. I've known about it for ages, but I've never actually seen it happen. That is wild. It keeps hitting the same. It keeps making a bigger and bigger clean spot. That is wild. That is wild and exceedingly entertaining. I love it. Absolutely love it. Alright, I've done more runs on this rail line than I really wanted to today, but man, here I am. Home now. Well, 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 welcome back. The prodigal squid returns. Oh, look at that. The National Weather Service has issued an extreme cold warning for the next several days. I can't imagine why. All of a sudden, like, an area of the country where we like, never get below freezing, and all of a sudden we're gonna get, like, down into the single digits. Should put more lightning rods on the roof. Nah. I like the oxidized look of the roof. It's gonna take a long time for the hunks of the roof that got cleaned off just there to re-oxidize. It was when I built the warehouse, it was all clean copper, and I knew that it was going to oxidize a whole lot in time. So it'll go back to normal. That's the fun of it. That is that is the fun of it, in all honesty. Okay, so we'll go ahead and rest, get this storm to pass. Wind is being brutal. Oh dear. Utterly freeze your face off type of wind, I take it. Okay, so let's go ahead and stash our cobble, because I can't go into the Nether with all of my expensive gear and possibly plummet into the lava and, you know, like, burn the horrible death of 1,000 suns or whatever. Alright, so there's that. Now I've got to go stash all of my gear. I'm more worried about my hands, like you do. Yeah. Hands are one of the places where you feel it the most whenever it gets cold. Wait a minute, what happened to my barrel? Did I remove the barrel? Well, there's a barrel. Started watching women's hockey, and there was a game yesterday. Toronto Scepters versus Ottawa Charge. Oh, really? Alright, put you there, put you there, put you there. Stash all of my stuffs. There we go. Hello, goggles. Okie dokie. So, go ahead and grab up one of these. Grab up one of these. You wanna have some amount of defense. Come to think of it, do I have a spare gold helmet? There's a spare helmet here. Oh, perfect. It's basic too. That's all I need. How's everyone doing today? Bitter cold up here, man. I was just talking about how I was gonna have to deal with that later this week. Oh, man. I am not feeling well today. Okay, so I've got to pick. Do I have a leftover? Yeah, I've got a stone sword here. Got a little bit of food. Looks like we're going to hit double digits by Thursday here. Oh, man. I'm not going to be that lucky around these parts. I have not stepped outside. I am staying in and enjoying my last day before work. Oh, that's right. You've got, like, President's Day off, don't you? I forgot about that. Okay, you know, I'm not going to overload myself on materials here. Okay, now that we're into the Nether, let's start someplace where it makes utter and complete sense to do this. Gonna break the wall here. While I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and make a spare stone pick. Alright, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun and hope that I don't regret that statement. So that's... Looking at that picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is where the roadbed goes. Okay. So now it's just a matter of doing this for way too long. Yep, there are some benefits to being a high school teacher. Can you feel the anxiety as you watch me do this over an ocean of lava? I hate doing this. My God, do I hate doing this. It's the best part of building in the Nether, a lava bath. That is not a benefit. I don't care what anybody says. That is not a benefit. Whenever I bridge in the Nether, I have a double layer of it. I'm paranoid. I'm a paranoid SOB. I don't blame you for it either. Back had to help the old folks troubleshoot their smart TV. Man, you know what I want? I want a dumb TV. I don't want a smart TV. I want a dumb TV. Like, I want a television that doesn't know what on earth the internet is because it wasn't built into it. I want a television without any applications. I want a television that basically does not require a processor inside of it in order to do its job. You know what a dumb TV is? A dumb TV is a commercial display because there's no advertising preloaded onto it. You know the problem with a commercial display? You have to pay the actual price for the television because the cost, the price tag, is not subsidized by the apps built into it. No one should want a doorbell that can recognize your face. Yeah. The last thing I ever want is like a Ring doorbell or anything like that. Dumb TV equals normal TV that functions. Well, that's just it, Dark Matter. With how much things have changed, you can't reliably say that that's what a normal TV is. Now, a normal TV needs access to the internet. It comes preloaded with ads. It listens whenever it's off. That's what normal is now. And it's scary. The future is a foreign land, man. What if you had a camera doorbell that was connected to a comical punching bag for when you didn't want this? God. Like, I live in condominiums, okay? And immediately across from me, somebody, like the people who lived across from us, they moved out, they left, and sold the place. And the people who bought it, the first thing that they did was install a Ring cam. So they like their doorbell is watching our front door all the time. I freaking hate it. The second thing that they did was they started complaining to the HOA that there are a bunch of stray cats around here. And they're not stray cats. The people who were living in the unit before they sold it had built a tiny little cat sanctuary for the strays, and they had used a bunch of humane traps to catch all the strays and get them spayed and neutered. So the people who used to be living across from us were like, oh, these cats are good. You know, we live not too far away from a body of water. There's a bunch of pests that wander around. They keep the place clean. So they put the work in to you know, catch up all these cats and make certain that we're not going to have, you know, like just a never-ending growing quantity of them. And the new people who bought the place are like, what the fuck is up with these cats? I don't want them in my backyard. They tore down the entire little cat sanctuary that was built back there, closed off the little hole in the fence that was built for them to get in and out easily, and then started pushing the HOA to get rid of all of the cats, to make it against to enforce the rules to make that say, hey, it's against the rules. You cannot have, you can't have outdoor pets like this. This is not okay. Like, I hate our neighbors immediately across from us for that reason. Cannot stand them. Time to plant some catnip on their doorstep. Listen, like, as much as I would love to inconvenience my neighbors, they have a freaking Ring doorbell figuring out, so they would be able to figure out who planted catnip around them. For that matter, I don't want to antagonize them in a manner that may end up in them hurting the cats because they're annoyed. Because I don't know that they're not those type of people either, you know? All right, I used up a pretty decent whack of the stuff that I had there. Let's go ahead. Actually, that's not necessary. Okay. The under rail is far from safe, but it's fine. Use a drone to sprinkle catnip around their house. Launch it from a park. They'll never know. For God's sake. That's clever. I'll admit, that's pretty clever. Okay. Glitter everywhere. Catnip, at least, is biodegradable. Save the glitter traps for other. Save the glitter for other traps. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, glitter bombs for porch pirates, I'm here for it, you know? Well, sadly, guys, I've had to I had to turn off squats. I just turned off squats. I don't think that I'm going to be able to do squats today, sadly. Man, I am not feeling good. I think it might have something to do with the dinner that we had last night. I think I launched just a serious gut bomb on myself. We had pizza, and then I immediately chased it with like an entire frozen custard. And also, if that's not enough, it would appear that Twitch chat is just fighting today. It's constantly reconnecting. That's not fun. Oh, that ain't good. Yeah, yeah. Chef Strife? Oh my god. So you're asking for Chef Strife, not the Swedish chef, right? I hope that's the situation. Man, freaking bots. Oh, we... I pulled a spoon from the drawer specifically so I could mix my coffee, and guess what I forgot to bring upstairs? I forgot to grab my mixing spoon. Chat. You will have to excuse me while I fix this. I'll be right back. Oh, my word. I have returned. Okay, I'm sorry about that delay, everyone. I have found the spoon that I needed. Spoon camera? Is that necessary? Is that really necessary? Must have gone on an adventure for the Spoon of Kings. Cortex using all the emotes. Need to change that emote screen. It violates terms of... Oh no, don't say that. Oh, wee. But yes, I'm back. I'm back. Hal was looking for the silver spoon. He was looking for the silver spoon he wasn't born with. Oh my word. All I have to say is that I said something about putting a gut bomb on myself. Well, it finally came to haunt me. So, you know, once you hit a point where you can't ignore what's going on. Oh right, a half hour ago, the chef accent was redeemed. I forgot about that. I'll say this much: I'm feeling a world better now. Oh man, whew. Okay, so we'll go ahead and log back in. Test this coffee. The remote detonator went off. God. All I had to do was stand up, man. I stand up, and all of a sudden, a bunch of stuff that, like, it just shifted the pipes enough, you know? Can't believe the lump of, like, undissolved creamer that I got there. All right. Doomsday. You get your wonderful chef accent now. Do you hear me? The chef accent has begun. Hello, hello. Greetings all. I have found myself in the nether. I have traveled straight to hell in the hopes of finding the next incredible height of cuisine. Oh, that is a problem. Oh, that is a problem. That is not good. This is the sign of the bad times. I go to dig the tunnel, and what do I find? I find the lake of lava has arrived for me. I've fallen into the lake of fire. Not actually, I've just found the lake of fire. I have not fallen into it, which is a good thing. Ah. And there she lies. The lava lake. It arrived sooner than I wished it would. This is my life now. I will become very cooked. I will become a cooked individual. A chef worthy of the burn marks on his backside. Greetings, Yon Tevla. How are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. For you are witnessing the pass of the pan. I am here to experience the terrible times of Alright, yes. Working on another tunnel. Are you ready to witness my pain and my suffering? That looks to go on forever. I am going to be digging this tunnel for a long time. I'm going to need so much more cobblestones than I thought I would ever need. Look at this sorry state of me. The long, the slow, the arduous process of making the rail tunnel on the underside of the Nether Highway. My goose is cooked. I'm sweating like there is no tomorrow. Too French for you? Oh, that is too bad. You cannot escape the French that I have with me. For I keep it in my back pocket, and I maintain my capabilities. Do not even speak to me about cheese, for I know more about cheese than anyone else. You came to love cheese in your life. I was born in the cheese. I was curdled by it. For I was turned into the perfect wheel in the warehouse of time. What kind of cheese? All the cheeses. All at once. That is how masterful I am of the cheese. Born and breed. Yes, born and breed. So what I'm hearing is that you are old and moldy. You will take those insulting words back. Right this instant. I am untrusting of this situation. For I must have the safety. Netherrack is not a reliable foundation to build upon. Unless it is at least 2 blocks thick. Witness me. She is very good. She's very good. Go ahead and close this up just for my safety. Perfect. The rack must be thick. You wish you could see my rack. This rack is so big and beautiful. You cannot imagine an existence without it. Greetings, you piggy fool. Yes, you can enjoy pics of my, of me in dressed rather down, if you will. It is a sightly sight, one that I am not in any way, shape, or form ashamed of. And that is the end of your chef accent. Oh, my word. Thank you so much for redeeming that, Doomsday. Blue is a good look. Well, I mean, hey, if I'm not mistaken, I think you were the one that purchased it there, Basilis. All right, let's go ahead and load up the furnaces here. I'm not even going to set these things to cook right now. I'm just going to, like, shove all of the netherrack into them because why not? Okay. Cool. That's all done. Thank God it was so French I thought you were going to immediately surrender once you stepped through the portal, for fuck's sake. Oh my God. Talk about a jab against the French. Oh. So, at the very least, if nothing else, thank you very much for the set, and thank you very much, I believe, for the hundo to get me to publish the picture as well. I don't know whether or not people are actually interested in pictures like that for the most part, but they're there, and I do them. Okay, so load up on that again. I should probably grab a backup crafting table for my exploits in the Nether. That's valuable. And now we return to continue our lovely exploits in the Nether. Hello. Did you want kibble? That seems good enough for him. Glad to provide the hundo, but to be clear, that outfit was bought by Storm Mage. Double checked on the throne. Oh, really? Okay, then. Well, that's proof that I'm not really paying that close of attention. Okay. Let's find our way all the way to the next location, and let's check the coordinates. Yeah? Because the way that I think that I'm going to do this is that... wanted the credit to go to the right persons. Well, in that case, I haven't seen Storm Mage in a hot minute, but to Storm Mage I say so, thank you then. I still have other pictures that I have to take involving different sets that have been given to me. I'm gonna have to rethink how to design these little nooks for supplies. I am sitting at roughly negative 300. Okay, so I have to dig all the way out to 300 before I try to figure out the station situation. There he goes, taking 2 bites and then leaving. Nothing could be more natural for this cat. This is like the least effective way to get back to the bottom half of it. I could just like go straight through the road bed and get down to the bottom. But I'm not going to like risk that. Okay, so this goes a decent distance in. Not an amazing distance, but a decent enough distance. Like negative 100, roughly. Okay, so I still have like 200 more blocks to go. This is fine. This can be taken care of with relative ease. All I have to remember is that the prime rule of mining in the Nether, do not like hold down forward and mine and the button to mine at the same time. Never ever do that, or you just run straight into lava, like right like that. Or you go and plummet. Plummeting is another very real possibility. Whoops. Oh shit, I didn't make myself up. Better have an axe. Best to have an axe. Pick this back up. Damn. Went straight into the fucking void again. God damn. Alright, well. We'll go back. We'll clear as much as we can. And hope that I don't run into additional lava. I mean, you can always axe a ghast or pigment if they have one. For God's sake. Lacking a... like, I don't... You know what? No, I'm not replying to that. I'm not replying to that. You and your trolly-oly ways. I just beat Avowed. How long was the game for you to have already beaten it? That seems awfully quick. You know what the really big question for the year is? Well, for the week is whether or not I will have to use a sick day. Because there are some weather conditions that I can't be bothered, you know? I will not bother dealing with the trip into work. And I'm partial to the idea that there will be no precipitation. That's what I'm banking on. I'm like, no, it's just going to be bitterly cold and I'm going to hate it. And then we'll get nothing out of the sky. Nothing that will, like, stop work from working, you know? Like, heckin' snow? Yeah, snow is just... Well, actually, things falling out of the sky is just something we don't do here, you know? We just don't do that in these parts. It's like, what the fuck is rain? What are you talking about? We just don't do that. Okay? Rain, precipitation. I mean, heck, even fog is a stretch too far. You're calling me a delicious gummy worm? No, what I'm saying is you might have a delicious gummy worm, but I haven't tasted to find out whether or not that's true. Okay, we've officially hit the fun part. I saw on Reddit that there's an achievement in Avowed for completing it on the hardest difficulty, and the title of the achievement is an FF14 reference. Ha ha ha. I need to see if this is potential for me this week as well. I have to prepare for virtual learning. Man, I mean, the sad thing is that, like, you go through a nasty winter, you know, that, like, has these cold spells later than you're used to. And you, for some reason, it feels like you're supposed to have an easy summer after that, but nothing could be further from the truth. It's almost for certain predicting that your summer is going to be worse, that it's going to be hotter and more gnarly, you know? It's like, oh, you got the nasty, you know, winter blast. That means that your summer now is going to be super nasty, you know? Let's patch these walls up, make it look a little bit more nice. There we go. We'll see how long the easy tunneling situation lasts. Have you played the Outer Worlds? Were you not here for whenever I streamed that? Doomsday, I put up an entire, I put up a review of the Outer Worlds. All that to say, yes. Yes, I've played through the Outer Worlds and all of the DLC. I'm looking at 157, halfway there. There. Oh, so many pics to repair. Kinky. Well, thank you, Dark Matter. Maybe one of these days I'll actually sort a bot out for YouTube and you can find out all about the kinky stuff that exists on the wish list. If you like the Outer Worlds, you might like Avowed. You like the guy forced to wear the moon mask? I mean... It definitely fits within the character profile of what they were going for with that game. Man, God. Infinite. Just lava. I knew that this was going to be an enormous pain when I finally got around to it, but man, ugh. Actually being in the middle of it and realizing what I got myself into, freaking, ugh, yuck. Whoops. Obsidian is better than Bethesda? I mean, that's not true across the board about everything. There are, like, some companies are good at some things and other companies are good at other things. What I can say is that the dialogue in The Outer Worlds was definitely, you know, good. Sadly, the world that you were exploring, like, the combat didn't feel particularly good. And there were definitely issues with... some of the overall writing of The Outer Worlds. It is so dark in this tunnel. Was it not for the fact that it's made out of netherrack, I wouldn't be able to tell where the hell I am. Lice is better than crabs. God. I have had neither in my lifetime. So, I cannot judge. I cannot judge. And I don't think I'm capable of getting either of them. Sounds like Microsoft is building monopoly on the gaming industry. It kind of feels that way. I think Microsoft in general has hit a point where they don't care about having a console anymore. Just like everything that I see about their game plan seems to indicate to me that they are trying to become the top dog of the gaming world, but in a Netflix manner. So it's like, yeah, where are you going to go to get the games? You have to subscribe to Game Pass. That's the rule. You can't get your hands on copies of the games that you keep. You have to subscribe to Game Pass. And if you don't subscribe to Game Pass, you know... Because it's like, I'll put it this way. I think the average person who plays video games, not even a gamer, just the average person who plays video games, will spend... they'll buy at absolute most, 3 games a year, okay? Now, I'm not going to say that those 3 games are going to be new, but let's just assume that they are. Now, 3 games a year, historically, has been $60 a piece. It's a bit of a different story now with, you know, the hike in prices and whatnot, but let's just use that traditional $60, okay? So if you bought 3 games a year, that means that you're spending $180 a year on video games, okay? Now, if that was what was going on, if you were buying 3 games a year, $180 yearly, that is the vast majority of the market, okay? So that's what you want to chase as a business. How do you improve your bottom line as a business whenever most users do not go outside of that 180, which is a high number and unlikely for a lot of people, okay? The answer is you try to figure out how to get them to spend a little bit more by convincing them that they're getting better value somehow. So 180 is an awfully high price to beat, but it can be done if you get people in on a low-end subscription service, like $10 a month. You're starting out at 120 there, okay? Okay, well, that's a good starting place, but you still have to get it up another $60. How do you pump the price up another $60 successfully? Well, a pretty reasonable way to do that is to just slowly increase the price of something. And what are people going to do if you buy up most of the studios responsible for making those games and you slowly but not absolutely move those games to be, you know, exclusive to the Game Pass? Or if not exclusive to the Game Pass, what you do is you make them accessible on Game Pass before you can get them anywhere else, okay? So it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's going to be out on Game Pass for an entire month before you can get your hard copy of the game. That way, people who are dedicated to hard copy, Avowed isn't even available in hard copy. That was one of the details coming out about it when before its release. So I think that is overall the business strategy that Microsoft has at this point. The goal is to try and make certain that they have control over a significant number of game-making studios and then making certain that all of the games that they produce go onto Game Pass, and it doesn't matter what platform that's on. I think I think Microsoft has identified that the hardware game is just, it's not worth it. It's a joke. There's nothing valuable there. What are you going to do about that? Well, do you stay in that market, or do you just go full in on the market for software, which is really where all of the money is in gaming? Like, the hardware is just a losing battle, especially with the way that especially with the changes to the economic landscape and the way that geopolitics is operating. It's just more sensible to go all in on the software than it is to produce a console, which you guaranteed are going to be losing money on whenever you first produce it, and you might be making money off of hardware sales when it's at end of life. And you have to offset those losses with the software. Why would you want to be engaging in a business model where you have to offset your losses? Why have the losses in the first place? Why not just go straight for the software market and market that to everyone else, because you're doing something unique with software and its delivery that nobody else is doing? That's what I see coming from Microsoft these days. That is their attitude. Like, that's their technique. That's what they're doing. They're like, yeah, fuck this shit. Like, we're not going to do the console thing anymore. All we care about is moving software. So, when does Microsoft buy out Sony? That's the catch. They don't. That is the critical thing. Microsoft does not buy out Sony. Microsoft does not buy out Nintendo. They need the install base from Sony and Nintendo to still push the hardware. Let our competition keep the sunk cost of producing hardware to play these games on at a loss. You know, let them keep that. We don't need that on our balance sheet. It's not making any sense. Just let go of the console market where you own it and hand it on a silver platter over to Sony and Nintendo and say, you guys have fun with this. Going forward, we're just not even going to bother. And by the way, we're offering our software service on your platforms now. That, I think, is their ultimate goal, because they can just say goodbye to the expense of trying to produce the hardware and the loss that you have. Like you don't know if you're ever going to break even on the hardware sale itself. So is what I'm saying making sense? Because personally, from a business perspective, I think that is 100% what Microsoft is getting up to. They thought up Game Pass. They basically wanted to become the Netflix of video games. And the only thing that you need at that point is to ensure that your competition is picking up the bill for putting the hardware out there to play games. Now, is that is that sustainable long term for Microsoft? It might not be, because if Nintendo and Sony pick up on this fact, then there's nothing stopping them, because they are private companies. Well, they're public companies, but there's nothing requiring them to allow Microsoft to put their services on those consoles. And I think that there's a reasonable possibility that the only reason Microsoft ever stays in the console business is to maintain a facade. As in, like, oh, the console side of our production is always a loss, therefore we always get to claim a loss on our console video game production in regards to taxes. So we get a tax break that way. But we're making money hand over fist with our software system. with our software Game Pass plan. So, you know, there's all sorts of ways that you can work out a beneficial like tax situation, and they're definitely doing something like that. I bought Scrabble on my Xbox, and every time I try to play it, it crashes. Oh my god. And there's no shortage of trash software out there as well. I don't know. I don't think that we're gonna swing back in the direction of like purchasing and quote unquote owning software for a long time. I think the pendulum is still swinging in the direction of people subscribing to their entertainment and not owning their entertainment, you know? I think that that's fundamentally where it's at. And a lot of that is expressed in the fact that most of the video games that people play kind of fall into the rerun, the economics of reruns, and the value of like residuals and whatnot on rerun television, which is where pretty much it's basically what perpetuated the entire television ecosystem for a long time. It's a little bit more questionable these days, the value of those reruns and residuals and whatnot. That whole process, that whole scene is a mess. But basically, a lot of TV was just reruns of old material for a very long time. I mean, that's still the case for most of television today. Most of what is actively shown on television is old rerun programming. So to somehow become the king of that, you know? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, that's not fine. Okay, then. It actually makes sense. That's actually... it makes sense that's actually 102 level stuff. I mean... See, this is, like, not to do inside baseball too much, but this is part of the reason why I don't really make a whole lot of video content on YouTube anymore. It's because most of the stuff that I have to say that seems to be compelling or interesting in any capacity is stuff that it's not easily made into a video. It's mostly just like a guy talking into a camera, and I don't like doing that, you know? I fundamentally do not find it fun or interesting to produce that type of content, but I cannot deny that doing that exact type of content is what I mostly prefer to watch. And I think that that's a change in the YouTube ecosystem. So talking about things like I am right here, like what I really need is just to have some sort of system in place to like pull clips like this out and just put them on my YouTube channel, because it makes the most sense to talk about these things while I'm streaming and then just repurpose it, you know? Anyway. Get some freaking distance from all of that heat for a moment. I think Nintendo and Sony figured it out already. Nintendo is very much in the toy maker mindset. Yes, Nintendo is absolutely in the toy maker mindset. Nintendo is also a company that you have to remember is not normal. And that is the broad strokes truth about a lot of what Nintendo does. They are not normal in broad strokes comparative to any other company out there, specifically because they have a longevity business model. They are not like a lot of companies that we deal with today, where it's like, oh, we have to always show that we are growing at every possible turn. And if we are not showing, line go up, market increase, then we are utterly failing. Nintendo does not have that attitude. Nintendo has the fundamental... they fundamentally think about business differently, and it's clear in the way that they operate themselves. They have an enormous war chest of money. They are very... They're cash liquid, okay? Which is not something that you get in a lot of companies these days. There's not a lot of liquidity inside of a lot of companies because having cash on hand in general is seen as a waste of money. Because if you have cash on hand, it should be used on developing a project, or it should be used on paying executives more money or paying more money out to shareholders. That is a fundamental belief about the way that a lot of companies run these days. Nintendo, on the other hand, while they are publicly traded, they are not they're not driven on perpetual growth. And you can see that in their actions. You saw that with the Wii U and the way that they cut executive pay in order to maintain talent. So, you know, like the people at the bottom didn't pay for the screw ups with how poorly the Wii U went and stuff like that. So all of this to say that Nintendo is going at their company management from a fundamentally different angle. And that doesn't mean that they aren't above doing some, you know, janky stuff, you know, like having Joy-Cons that constantly fail super, super fast. Hello, Ratchet. Is there something you want? If it's anything other than kibble, I cannot help you. The only way we go back to physical media is if the subscription market crashes super hard, but it won't because a lot of businesses are trying really hard to keep that bubble from popping by deflating. Yes. And that's actually a really good, like a good example of market manipulation to prevent a bubble. Would be going back in time and looking at Magic the Gathering. When Magic the Gathering first started, it was like a lot of other card games that just took off out of nowhere. And at the time, the wisdom was to just print as, like, just constantly ride that high as much as you can. Print as many cards. It didn't matter what the cards were. Just make as much money as you can until the bubble pops, and then the card game is over. Nobody cares about it anymore. Okay, we're done. Moving on. Like that was the trading card game market for a very long time. And then when Magic happened, the people responsible for it said, well, we want this to actually succeed. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention to what cards people want the most, and we're going to go in and we're going to devalue those cards by printing more of them. So there's no bubble where people are trading the cards back and forth, trying to just, you know, like make a buck on it. So companies can do this. And you know, we see the results of that. Magic the Gathering is still a card game to this day. It is still very successful to this day, and that is greatly in part because the makers of the card game actually paid attention to what they needed to do to ensure that the game didn't turn into just like a bubble that popped. So any company can, you know, engage in this level of market manipulation to some degree, whether or not it's legal or, you know, moral or anything is an entirely different topic. But anybody who's getting into the streaming business has a huge incentive to try and perform this type of market manipulation to prevent streaming from being a popping bubble. Because, well, people don't own anything on a streaming subscription system. Man. I mean, it's the golden goose that's laying the egg, you know? Isn't that because Nintendo owns all their levels of production and game/dev and everything else? That is a huge component of it. Nintendo, they're not an end-to-end company. They do not fully own absolutely everything. They still license out for production and whatnot with partners, I believe. So they don't internally develop, they don't internally manufacture their hardware, though they do internally develop all of it. Golden goose that lays the egg. It's the goose that lays the golden egg. Well, I mean, hey, it's good to know that I'm coming through and teaching people turns of phrase completely wrong. Okay? I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. Anybody remember when Hasbro tried to force D&D players to play a certain way? I mean, I remember a lot of stuff with D&D and Hasbro, but I don't know what is and is not true, because that's not an area of entertainment that I really pay too much attention to. You're gonna summon Goggles with media talk. Aw, it's no, I won't. Goggles is too busy playing her Steam game over there. Don't worry. Shmeenus. I can go get her. I mean, I'm not telling you to. I've only got 10 more minutes before I'm out. Like, I'm not gonna be streaming much longer. I heard that you were talking shit and you didn't think that I would hear it. Oh, God. Hello, Goggles. God's sake. I could hear the accent in those caps. You're teaching a lot of people about, you're teaching people a lot of info on how businesses function and how they use basic market manipulation. I mean, I think there's nothing sophisticated about this, but then again, I have to remember that I've got an affinity for economics and, you know, how, like, you push something over here in a market and this is going to happen over here. And that applies to all parts of life, you know? And obviously, like, you can always take that and turn it into a lens on something, you know? Business shit just pisses me off. I mean, I don't blame you. There's a lot of business shit that's just really fucking stupid that and shouldn't run and exist the way that it does. And yet, you know, look at where we are. Oop. I just wish that I was more entertained or in it. I wish I enjoyed actually making videos about this topic. I love talking about the topic. I don't love... I love talking about this stuff. I love researching this stuff. What I don't love is sitting down, saying these things into a camera, and then knowing that I have to like clean up the audio. I have to edit a succinct video together. I have to come up with a effective thumbnail. I hate the whole process of presenting the content to people in a way that makes them care about it. Basically, I hate the ecosystem of YouTube. I hate the ecosystem of YouTube. If I was making enough money to pay somebody else to worry about whether or not the content is actually going to get people to click, and that advertising aspect of it, I would be all in on it. Like, I would have somebody hired for it. I've never made enough money to justify hiring someone for it, though, which is unfortunate. But, you know, that's the way that it is. So, for that matter, I don't know that I'm really the most knowledgeable person to be sharing this information with people in the first place. Then again, I suppose I should put that in inferiority complex, like hanging up on a hook, because you look at the world today, most of the people who have the loudest voices are also the least educated. So, for fear of becoming one of those terrible people, I have to teach economics next year. This is very informative. What on earth? Economics being taught in high school? That is madness. Like, the very prospect of teaching economics in high school was something that made no sense for the place that I went to school. They don't want you educated. Like, where I grew up, they're like, we don't want you too educated. You might actually, you know, form a union or something. Learn about workers' rights. Which, incidentally, the reason why America has a dedicated Labor Day that is not aligned with May Day, which is basically the day of worker rights for the rest of the world, the reason that America does not celebrate May Day is because they didn't want workers to have solidarity with other workers in different countries. Basilnomics. And you joined a union anyway, straight out of high school. I mean, my dad was, well, my mom and my dad are like, I don't want to call them extreme left-wing, but they are definitely like, you know, they are 1960s, 1970s liberals, you know? Which you get to take, you can take that for what it is. Those are the people who raised me. And it doesn't mean that they've got, you know, like they don't have modern views on everything, but overall pretty good outlook on what you should be doing, you know, like trying to look to hold people in power accountable and stuff, you know? So that was taught to me, and amongst all of that was the lesson of unions. So, like, my dad was a tech worker, and he lost his position in the tech sector because of, like, you know, a bust that happened, and it resulted in, you know, like, moving and relocation for the family and everything. And when he ended up in another job that had a union, he didn't hesitate to join it. And he always talked about the union constantly. So I learned from a very young age that unions were worth it. There's also the fact that his dad, my grandfather, was a blacksmith for the railroad. So, you know, rail workers, I've never not known rail workers to be union. So, you know, it runs deep in the family. It runs deep in the family, being you know, blue collar and dedicated to the union, paying your dues and stuff like that. So do you have a day job or do you do this full time? Oh my God. Noel, I wish I did this full time. I so wish that I did this full time. If I did this full time, it would mean that I would have a staff and I could actually like instruct them to I could hire out the jobs that I don't like doing. No, this is a part-time thing. And I have a night job. I start my work in the evenings, you know, and I get home once well after the sun is down. And it's been like that ever since I started doing YouTube and Twitch and stuff. So for me, you and my boss are the ones who are teaching me a lot about business and how to improve my sales strats at work. Well done. I mean, a book that I think that is worth reading if you are interested in... Ooh, that's my stopping alarm. I'll try not to go on for too much longer. Man! I have a lot of drainage. Anyways. What was I talking about? Right. A book that I think that's worth reading, that I finally, you know, bothered to get a copy of it and give it a look, is Disrupting the Game by Reggie Fils-Aimé. He was the president of Nintendo America for like a decade or so, maybe more than that. And in this book, he tells a lot, like, it's a memoir. That's the first thing to understand. Like, this is, like, the whole book is just a straight up memoir. But he, the way he tells it is very influenced by the way that he was taught how to write for business. Because something that's still very true to this day is that if you have something important that you need to communicate to your boss and your boss doesn't know how to do your job in any capacity, the last thing that they're going to do is read anything that you write if it's more than like 3 sentences. Okay? If you cannot effectively boil down what you need done or what the problem is into 3 sentences, your boss is not going to wrap their head around it. So Reggie had this same problem. Well, it wasn't a problem. It was something that he was outright taught in his first job after he got out of college, was learning how to write the best 1-page memo ever. Okay? Keeping in mind he graduated when, you know, typewriters were still normal. So the idea was, like, he starts out with that more or less in his professional career, and he talks about it was a really, really big honor where he was working at Procter & Gamble to write the perfect memo, give that to your boss, and then your boss has to give it to his bosses, and he doesn't modify your memo. Like, that was like a really, really important thing to be able to do, because it meant that you were extremely good at your communication. So, for that reason, his entire book, the way that it's written, is strongly informed by that lesson that he learned really early on in his life. So that makes the book only like 200 pages long. And the moral of the story, which you don't get a whole lot in many writings these days, you don't get the moral of the story from a lot of stuff. You have to kind of read between the lines and try to figure out what it is. Golly, my drainage today. He stops constantly through this book, and it's like made into this nice, pretty little box that says, "So what's the point?" So after so many of these anecdotes, you know, these little stories that he's telling in his memoir, the text comes to a full stop and it says, okay, what was the point of this story, you know? And that happens over and over, and like sometimes you'll go for like 3 or 4 pages and have none of those, and then all of a sudden you'll have one every, you know, page, in every half page you'll get one of those. So for that reason, I think that his book, Disrupting the Game, is very good for getting lessons out of it about the fact that if you want to get things done, you need to use these tactics of like getting people behind your ideas and managing to, you know, because you can't run a company entirely on your own. You have to actively involve other people. And in most situations, you're not going to be the person at the top making all the decisions. So, and even if you are kind of far up, there's almost certainly going to be someone above you still who can like put the kibosh on your ideas, and you should work hard at trying to convince other people of your ideas, and top communication is critical to all of that. And basically getting support, having allies and whatnot in what you do, being a fair type of leader as well. Someone who, you know, if you identify problems, you don't automatically throw people into the meat grinder to fix it. You don't automatically get rid of problem employees. You give them an opportunity to, you know, fix or adjust and stuff like that. A very, very reasonable amount of advice about, you know, like getting things done properly, and also being fair about it. There's also a lot of advice in there about how you should really try to you shouldn't be so prideful of your successes and the things that you build that you are afraid to dispose of things that you've done successfully because they're no longer working. So it's like, oh, well, this was a great project that like when, and we launched it and it worked really, really well, but the market changes so fast. Oh, this is no longer working, and it's going to create like damage for the brand. So we should really just get rid of this thing now that like we've built something amazing. We launched it. It's done its job, but now we should really cancel the project that we built because it's going to cause damage long term for this reason or another. So just the general idea of there are good and bad ways to manage and run a business and be a leader. And I think that the book does a really, really good job of putting in very clean, stark terms how you try to be the best that you can be in business operations. Because there's a way to morally run a business, and there aren't enough people talking about that. And that's one of the reasons why I liked the book so much. So I first started watching your content in about 2008, watched your Fallout 3 money guide and the Oblivion Vampire guide. Maybe it was later. Oh, wow. Oh, you've been around for a long time then. My word. Well, welcome to the stream, even though I'm definitely running on overtime now. But don't worry, I don't have to visit the bathroom today after I had to take that extended break earlier. So I'm not as pressed for time. It was also a benefit because we only had 4 years mandatory classes and electives: AP US History, AP American Government, and World Geography. Corporates, long-winded answers to dodge the question of what if they are what they are doing just. Also corporations, if it is longer than 3 sentences, I ain't reading it. Oh man. That's a line that I continuously tell my coworkers. That some incredibly evil things can happen in the most boring ways, because whenever you get people to, if you can bore people to death, they'll probably let you do something bad just to not be bored anymore. That's a really common tactic, and that's the way that they weaponize the legal system, which obviously is supposed to be used for, you know, to bring justice and whatnot. But a lot of companies utilize it to create a lot of boring stuff to erode the rights of you know, customers and whatnot. You should make a video of you reading this book. Oh my god, I wish that made any sense, but Reggie actually, like, he did the audio book for it, and I believe that they did a video version of it as well, where they recorded him in the booth with a camera. So I would never hazard to step on those toes. What do you guys think? Do you think I can? I think I can make it to the end of this before I stop stream. Like, just get the raw tunnel in, you know? The raw, undecorated tunnel. Do you have work? I do have work. I don't have to leave for another 50 minutes, and it doesn't take much for me to get ready. I think I'm close enough to the end that I can actually get through this without issue and finish. You're doing it raw, huh? Well, I mean, listen, like, if I could put it on a video and sell it without having to jump through extra hoops, I would. But unfortunately, the only way to do it raw is to do it live. Anyways. Do you still have the vids of you reading Skyrim and Oblivion books on YouTube still, or did I gaslight myself into thinking you did? They are there. They are there. I believe the if you go to my channel and you look through the playlists for it, there is a list called Stories from Skyrim. I believe that's what it was called. You know what I think the major thing that changed for me in regards to making video content on YouTube was? The entire reason I started making videos on YouTube about video games was because I had an education in motion graphics. I had an education in motion graphics, and I really wanted to make fancy motion graphics. And that's what I did. And I was like, well, nobody's going to watch these fancy motion graphics unless there's like something substantive behind it for them to actually engage with that they care about. Nobody's going to show up for, you know, like a fancy logo design and that's it. I want more views on this. So what I did was I decided to write some guides about, you know, some topics in video games, specifically Oblivion. That was where I started. And I was like, I'm going to put a fancy freaking logo at the front. That's where my graphic design is going to go. And as time went on, I figured out how to, you know, do fancy graphics in the middle of the video. But man, I think like, YouTube has changed so much. The graphics are not appreciated. People don't want the graphics. They get in the way, you know? Like, what is it? Stop tripping over yourself. Stop thinking you're so important. Those type of comments is just like, get rid of all those graphics. Why don't you just make this super basic type stuff? You know? So I think the lack of appreciation for that stuff is a part of the reason why I just don't want to do it anymore. You know? It's considered as so disposable. It's in the way, or if it is enjoyed, why can't you make more of those types of graphics faster, you know? like car companies selling a car, but in the user agreement, you do not own the vehicle. You are just paying to you. Oh God, man. Ugh. Okay, so I've made it to the location that I needed to get to. Let's see whether or not I can Aha! Alright. So I have come out the other side, and now that I know where the exit is, I can figure out how to rework this. Because what I'll probably do is just turn this like into the doorway that goes into the station and the stairs and everything. And I'll build the station just over here in general. So you'd be surprised, though. I suppose at the time you started YouTube was pretty new. Yeah, I started YouTube in 2006 or 2007. I don't remember which. The date is still on my YouTube channel when I made it. YouTube hasn't changed. People's attention span has gotten shorter. I don't know, man. Like, there's something to be said for whether or not the people's attention span is the fault of them or it's the fault of the algorithm feeding into their... into shortening the attention span. Are people's attention spans shorter because people want to watch shorter content? Or are their attention spans shorter because the algorithm is really, really focused on feeding them additional like shorter and shorter content? Which one of those is it? It's a chicken and egg situation. People respond to short form content better, and then the algorithm starts to push it more. But which is responsible for what's the real problem? Is it people responding to the short form content, or is it the algorithm for really, really pushing the short form content after it figures out that people like that? Okay, close you up. Okay, so I've done a pretty good whack of work here. Most likely both. Lizard brain plus algorithm. You're probably getting at the core of it right there. Alright, let's go ahead and... I've got some extra stuff to do today before I actually head into work. So let's go ahead and just load up the furnaces and get those chugging away, and I'm just gonna leave myself AFK after I finish the stream. But also, what time do people have to spend on content? If they're working 3 jobs, it makes sense to watch short things instead of having to break up watch times on a 3-hour video essay. Man. You identified another major challenge, that definitely has some sort of a impact on all of it. Increasing the complexity of the topic. Once again. As if the topic wasn't complex enough, right? Okay. All right, cool. That's chugging along. Guess I'll dump this other nether rack. man. Some of the, like, the early days Minecraft music was okay, but it wasn't particularly good. Not like sit there, stop and be like, oh man, this music is good. The music in Minecraft these days is just so damn nice. Listen to this, it's one of my favorite tracks. Infinite Amethyst. Love it, man, love it. I'm gonna have to come back into the nether. I'm gonna have to go back into the nether and continue my mining op. To this day, one of the absolute best tracks I think that has come out of it at all. Frankly, I want them to, like, in my opinion, I think that every update that they put out should have at least another 3 tracks, if not 5, where it's like, yeah, we added some tracks for the new things, but we also added tracks for like the old things, like new music for the Nether. I remember when they introduced that, that was always just like, oh my god, that's amazing. There's actually like biome specific music for different spaces in the hellscape. That's amazing. Oh my god. That's also true as well. All topics of this depth are complex. It is the nature of it, and we as humans that are the complex beings that we are. Which sucks that our lizard brains have not caught up. Oh my god, thousands of years of evolution, you know? Living in a very specific, like, system of, better hit the hay. Living in a very specific type of society and way to live. You know, survival. There we go. Living in society that is designed a specific way, and our survival being what it is. Hello, Ratchet. You want up here? Okay, come on. I got the boy. I got the boy. Oh. You're lovely, Ratchet. It's so very complex and nuanced. People are not a monolith, and one convenient answer will never fit. Yeah, at the end of things, we're still just animals. Man. I've always loved long-form content because I like being informed, but I might be the minority in that. There's a subset of people who enjoy long-form content, and YouTube's algorithm is multifaceted enough that it rewards channels for doing long-form content, because the algorithm as a whole really likes it when people watch stuff for a long time. Retention period on a video is enormously important. So basically, if you publish a 3-minute video, and it gets 100% retention, that's worth more than a half-hour video with 80% retention. You'll never get 100%, but you know that gives you the idea. But in general, longer videos they tend to cut back a whole, like they cut both ways. They tend to cut you more than they cut forward. So, because of the way that the algorithm operates. Anyways, chat, I have had a lot of fun just kind of having a chill time here in Minecraft, okay? And working on infrastructure projects, etc. I haven't done this in so long, you know? I haven't done this in months. So I want to thank all of you, okay? I want to thank all of you for coming along for the ride and enjoying my my presence and just being part of the stream, you know? Wait, so if you take your old vids and combine them into a massive vid and shorts, you get more views. You get more views, really? Yeah. Yeah, there are entire ways to game the YouTube algorithm system by re-uploading content. There's also a method of creating viewer retention that is higher than 100% by manipulating the edit page. You get wiggle, good boy. You get wiggle. There you go. You want your kibble, don't you? Yep. He wiggle for kibble. But there are all sorts of ways to manipulate the system. It's possible to get over 100% view retention on YouTube by making a video, publishing it, letting it get, a certain number of views, and then looking at the statistics behind it and saying, okay, well, people are watching, say a 10-minute video for 8 minutes. And then if you go into the editor and you just chop out 4 minutes to make the video in total 6 minutes long. Now, because of the way that the algorithm calculates its math, it sees that people have watched a 6-minute video for 8 minutes. That doesn't make any sense, but the math still operates, and it'll return a higher watch time than 100%. And that helps to supercharge the video in the algorithm so that it suggests it to more people. If people are watching a video, if viewer retention is particularly high, it tells the algorithm that people really like the video. So it'll push it at a lot of people. Anyways, that's all that I have to say. Chat, you've been a wonderful and a lovely audience. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. I really liked playing just some basic Minecraft again. I hope to see you guys again at 12 noon U.S. Central Time on right here where you're watching me for the next round of stream and video and whatnot. And hang on, options, music, turn the game sound off because I'm AFKing now. Take care, stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly to all of you, please stay warm this week because there's a huge swath of the USA that's going to be getting an enormously sub-zero blast of Arctic temperature, okay? So stay warm. Until next time, though, I wish you all the absolute best, and I hope to see you in my next stream on Saturday. I'll catch you all later. Bye.